And it is Kaz from In the Trenches with Kaz. I've done a couple of modifications of different things, but one thing I haven't changed is the fact that Lauren is here.
I'm here.
Lauren says hello. We've been watching you guys lighten up the comment section there, and it was great to see a lot of the support in Lauren's channel today for her. I was going to say Cherry for the first stream of her series, which has got a murderer's row of public speaking people that will be coming onto that. It's going to make it an absolute necessity to be part of that channel for that atmospheric, drip-fed learning experience by hearing the communique of so many people from different backgrounds, officers, okay, enlisted men, special forces, civilians, tattooists,
That's right.
etc. It's going to be interesting.
A real motley crew, and it was great. And thank you everybody who came and left a comment and gave it a thumbs up, and who was there for the premiere. That was really made me feel good.
Yeah, it made Deadpool feel good too. He's here at the moment.
Saw him there.
Guys and gals, we're going to talk about something that's sort of different, but it's not. And just so you know, we've got a video coming out at 10:30 in the morning. It's forecast. It'll be popping out there. And Lauren will be on between 9:30 and 10 o'clock.
Yep.
So to anyone having an off shift or anyone unemployed, okay, make sure you get yourself over there. Have a good time. Even if it means that you put the stream on. It's not a stream as such. They're two videos. And simply let us be your lullaby. Ladies, if there's any ladies out there watching, just swipe right. I'll never know, but, you know, the karma will come around and make me feel better. It makes my hair grow longer too. We've got a whole bunch of questions we're going to be asking you tonight, and the questions are actually going to be popping up on the screen. So make sure you keep watching. Some of these questions are going to amplify the success that you've had in your life, depending on how old you are. But it's also going to highlight to some people TikTok, not the biological clock, but your decision-making processes and how they're going to stick with you and potentially damn you if you don't hurry up because you don't have as much time as you think you've got. We're in the most unforgiving time of history because it's such a fake time where people won't tell you what you need to hear, that you do look fat in your jeans.
Just don't ask if you don't want the answer.
I'll never understand why a skinny girl never asks that question. You know?
Nobody should ask it. Just wear the jeans.
That's it. Life choices can be permanent.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a blue cow.
My eyes, I swear to God, are buttons.
Wakey was vids. Here's $3.
Wakey was, that's 3,000 viewers there. Thank you very much. You just made this a professional stream because now it's being paid for. Thank you very much. That's like the average price of a video rental when Video Easy was the thing. Beta cord, VHS. Baby, what's your flavour? How does that mic sound at the moment? There's two wankers in the room now. There's me and Leo.
Come on now.
Okay, for all of the girls that have got the hots for Clark Kent, okay, although I am Batman. Boom. Look at that. Whack. Ambush on the ladies' hearts. SP, why are the chevrons upside down like an American's? Because that was the only chevrons that I could actually find to be able to create the emoji for that, mate. That's the only reason. You know, everyone understands it. It's like a word spelt wrong, but you know what it means. Manny Pacquiao's my favourite boxer. Got my enlistment in a couple of weeks. Thanks for your help, Kaz and team. Cheers.
Yeah,
all
let
good.
us know the date so we can put you in the nearly invisible book.
Yep, Manny, let us know the date because it is important to us. And guess what? First blood. Oh, not on my hand, but on my jacket. Does anyone like my Dave Penson back in Nam? I just want my country to love me like I love it. For Sylvester Stallone fans out there, throw a thumbs up. Carl P is looking good there. He's actually sent some messages there, and we'll be covering off on those messages after for the members, which is something that you can always do. If your name is in green, then you'll notice if you look at the community tab, okay, what happens is I send messages there to people that are just members. And that'll give you a chance to throw some wisdom from a different direction into our streams. So that encourages you to have a biological attachment to the channel. Okay,
Yeah.
fund us to be able to keep doing this, to buy the coffee, to keep my eyelids up, and we'll go from there.
Actually, that reminds me, there was a question from JR at the beginning, wanted to know how he upgrades his membership, and I didn't know how to tell him, but I told him I'd ask.
It'd be just go back to the join button and go from there, mate. But you know what? It's fine, man. It's fine. You don't need to upgrade. We're happy to have you there. You're not going to go up and rank any quicker.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Fugly. I've met Pacquiao. Oh, fantastic. It's apparently it's a great thing for anyone that meets him, except from those of the LGBT community. And I think he should absolutely be able to have his own opinion on that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. Imagine being one of these groups, one of these identity politics groups that walks into a party like the old song, "It's my party and I'll cry if I want to," and going in and go, "You're not allowed to not like me." You go, "Well, now I like you less." It's
Exactly.
if anyone wants me to not like a group, tell me that I'm not allowed to not like them, and I'll drop my fondness for them quickly. Pricey dice. Oh, that sounds like someone losing at craps. Craps. That's the way I like to speak.
That weighted dice.
Hello, Kaz. I was wondering if you had any tips to complete the U session interview. That's a tough one, man. I've got a whole video made for that, but mate, you should go and check that out. I've got one on the U session, I've got one on the assessment session, and I've got one on the PFA. I've got 100 videos on the tips and tricks. Mate, I went into more detail on that. So if you can go and check that out, that'll be apples. Unless you want scurvy, and then I'd say don't worry about apples. I can answer you now if you need to. Dave D, Survival Man 343. Survival Man Infantry. He's done a great job. You got to listen to that man because he's older. He's still alive. Let's have a look at something here, shall we? Lauren, we're just going to analyse the slide. How good is this slide of Deadpool and the city in the background? I believe it's... Sorry?
I like it.
I like it a lot.
I like it a lot.
It's good to have you here, Jackson Middleton.
Yeah, indeed.
Okay, what we're going to do is quickly analyse the actual thumbnail for tonight. Now, rather than ask you because it's, I don't want you to have to type it out. What we see here is two blokes. One is in a suit. He's in the city. The other guy's in a uniform. Can't see his face, but he's not a dentist. Okay, he's got the poppies behind him that signifies sacrifice of his brothers while he is still alive, but he's representing them. We've got Jerry Maguire down there, the famous saying. Let us know in comments now. What is he saying when he holds up his fish? What's he saying? It's probably fairly important. Okay, let us know. Pop fiction there on your movie quiz. But what's happening is he can identify the guy in the suit. The guy in the suit can't identify him because of his uniform, his get-up, etc. Their lives are completely different. All right? The impression is the guy with the suit has got money.
Yep.
But that doesn't necessarily true. That could be a $300 suit, which it's not, from Roger David. I get that.
Yeah.
Or even cheap if you went to Tara Cash.
Exactly. Who's to say the other guy doesn't have money? Because I know plenty of yous that do.
Yep, true. QPM, thank you.
Yep.
But he's letting him know, do I know you? Because you can't see him. And he's saying, look, we went to school together, bro. We're same age. We just made different choices. Our lives are different. The thing is, Kaz, you still look scruffy still. No, I look like a man. I'm just trying to look a little bit more Afghanistan, mountain troop rebel, which I may not get away with the complexion and hair colour. I'm just trying to look like a man. It's taken me a while to get this sex change and be one. Guys and gals. So Jerry Maguire is saying down there, who's coming with me? Who's coming with me? Anyone can do the suit job on the left. Anyone. University is easier to get into than Army Reserve. Easier. Okay. The soldier is there. He's made his decisions. He forgoes some comforts. He forgoes air conditioning. He lives a different life, completely different. But what he gets in value cannot be calculated until you're old enough to look back and go, holy shit, I accidentally missed the iceberg without even realizing it by choosing action over words, by choosing living life over money, finances, resources, comfort. No one can be passionate about being an accountant unless it's for yourself. You know, did anyone ever think they were going to have passion about being a plumber? Or is it passion about doing a trade? The, what would you call it? The sustainability of it, the security of it, starting your own business, getting paid for it.
Yep.
But military can be exciting every single day. And when we are whinging, it's often because we're bored. What a privilege that you can be in a job that pays you to have 3 meals a day during work hours, going to the gym twice during work hours. I'm talking more infantry here than what I'm talking someone that's in Ramey. You won't get enough time to do that. You're going to be working your ass off and getting paid exactly the same or less. Hey, Fiona, how you going, my dear? But this guy's saying, who's coming with me? 2 different lives, 2 different paths. Which one are you sitting in? Let's find out, shall we, Lauren?
Okay.
Lauren doesn't know what we've got going on tonight here yet.
No idea.
So I said that we're never alone. We're here by ourselves. So I've got some questions to throw at you here. And if Lauren sees any excellent questions coming up in the chat there, by all means, throw it down my neck like a pilchard, so to speak. Righto. First question. Are we ready? Ready, please, Mr. Music? Okay, number 1. Boom. What's your dream career? Right now, regardless of what your age is. Put it in comments. What is your dream career? It'd be interesting to see what pops up and see what pops up beside certain people's faces. And I dare say, you're going to be surprised to see that not everyone is saying military. This is not a military channel. It's just you. Every time I think I'm out, you pull me back in.
Do you know what my dream career would always be that I've always thought of?
Roxanne,
No,
don't you turn off the red light. No. What?
I would love to be the person who names lipsticks and nail polishes. I want to be the person who comes up with the names of them.
Dudes, now you know why I think chicks are crazy. You know,
That would be my dream.
I want to skip rope for a job.
All right, Stickman wants to be Prime Minister.
Oh, geez, you can have that, mate.
Yeah, Michael Stott is on the way to doing his. He wants to do counselling. He's living his dream.
Okay.
Dylan Lambo Lamb wants to be in infantry. Yep. Riley wants to be special forces.
Yeah.
David Attenborough also wants to be Prime Minister. Wow, there's so many of you.
I'd like to be the Prime Minister of a country that's swinging so far left.
Well, maybe we need one of them in there. George Atkinson wants to be an attack heli pilot, but he's going into computers.
You can actually be an attack helicopter if you get the right change.
Yeah, exactly. Informant wants to be Australian Special Forces.
Okay.
Carl P. would like to be a fighter pilot.
Wow.
Giuliano would like to be a sapper.
Yep.
Magnifico would like to be infantry. So would Alex Johnson. Zane Robinson would like to be a section commander. RB Iceberg would like to be SF. Nitro Fee would like to be intelligence.
Oh.
Dave D says dream career major part-time state manager civvy. So
okay.
I guess that's whatever he's doing now. Chongo would like to be infantry. Yeah. Pirate 13 wants to be a butcher. Guardian.
An infantry and a butcher.
Yeah.
Don't say that when you're in the psych.
No, exactly. Guardian would like to be Australian Special Forces. Patterson says his dream career has finished. Nicholas Metcraft would like to be an infantry officer.
Yeah.
Nitro Fee would like to own her own martial arts hall. That's a good dream.
Not bad.
Magnifico would like to be, it's pretty bad spelling there, a part of the Australian Royal Regiment.
Okay, the Royal Australian Regiment, that's infantry, yeah.
Yeah. Daz would like 2 million acres with 20,000 cows. Of course you would. You would never run out of barbecue then.
That's a nice harem.
Yeah. What? Graydon Gaunt would like to be a stand-up comedian.
I like that.
Yep. And let me see. Chongo wants to be special forces. Fugly would like to be a policeman, officer person.
Okay.
But he wants to be feds, not states. Will Jones would like to be an infantry soldier. Mr. Patterson wants to be a genie in a bottle. What, like I Dream of Genie?
I know someone in every single one of these jobs except for the genie in the bottle. And if I met Genie...
The Wood would like to be light horse cavalry.
That's Army Reserve, you know that.
And Kane Higgins would like to be infantry regiment, and second to none. And hang on, have we got more? But Michael Stott says in his dreams he's a Viking training dragons. So there you go. That's about everybody's dreams.
If you're going to be a Viking, you can't have patchy face hair like yours, Stoddy.
No.
Shutter Island. That's excellent. Okay, so we've got some diversity there, and we're seeing the themes, and a lot of those are achievable. So let's push on to the next question, shall we? And I'll leave the initial question up. Are we ready for more? Please, Jack, can I have some more? Yeah. Delan had a great conversation with me. Yeah. And he's got a young man named Oliver. Please, sir, can I have some more?
Great name.
More porridge? Never before has a boy asked for more.
Yeah.
Bam. Righto, we just asked you then. Now I'm asking you this. What are you doing to achieve it? Because you can talk about it all your life, and then all of a sudden there's mould on the side of the bread, and then you can't do it. Yeah. Okay, we've got people right now, in this chat that have had their time, that has come and gone, and for different reasons we'll speak about in a moment that are in your way and you may not realise it. Yep. Okay? You may never reach your dreams, and people will look back and say, team, you need to go on a solo trip. You need to Marco Polo the shit out of this until you reach your destination. Leyland bro, not brothers. You might have to go alone until you've got a replacement. Tonto, you're not allowed to say anymore because that's a Spanish word for fool.
Oh, is it really?
That's why they got rid of it out of Lone Ranger.
Oh, I didn't know. Wow.
So what are you doing about it, team? What are you doing about it? Are you in the middle of something? Are you training? Are you procrastinated?
Yeah, I'm training. I'm just renaming all my lipsticks.
Do you want to build a snowman?
Keely Boyd would love to run her own wildlife rehabilitation centre. That would be a great thing to do.
Freaking awesome. I'll work for you.
Yeah, Leo wants to be a pro surfer. What are you doing about it, Leo? Are you out surfing every morning?
The water's cold and I'd be too busy wanking.
Yeah.
It says he's a stuntman for life. He's a wanker stuntman.
Maybe he can do both at the same time. I don't know.
Hey, wankers they're not allowed out in the surf with us.
I want that, yeah. Michael Stott is working towards his dream.
Yes, he is.
He is working hard, and he's been doing that for a long time now. There's Chongo's quit his job focusing on training, so he's going towards the, Kynan's trying to be the best person he can be and get out of this rut. That's admirable. You've got to shift something to get out of a rut.
Let's just pause for 2 seconds. Just so you know, King Chongo, he's actually, no one knows who you actually are, mate, so I'll quickly say it. Treat him like the dentist, doesn't want to show his face on TV. Yeah. Chongo has had a really interesting life, and he's been working in the mines, fly in, fly out, on the big dollars, which is potentially selling your soul. Okay, he knew that, and he's got out of that, broken away from that, so that he can now follow his dream of wearing a uniform in the Australian Army, and he's doing everything he can about it. Big boy. Okay, so he's actually done something where he's given himself a timeline by actually walking away from the career he had to make sure that he does something about his situation to follow his dreams before the mould starts going on the side of the bread.
Yeah, make himself accountable to himself, and that's really important to do.
It is.
It is definitely. Giuliano is going for runs, doing well at school, doing push push-ups. Hey, you're doing everything right, Giuliano.
And all of these things help everything in life, not just the military. The difference is if you're in military and you're doing those things, you're getting paid to do it, and you're doing it in goddamn work hours. That's the difference. Accountant boy is paying to do this like a second job that he has to do before work, after work, etc. That's going to piss a chick off. It's going to piss him off, and it becomes a second job. Military, you do it within work hours.
Exactly. Stickman's on his way to becoming Prime Minister.
Yeah.
Just remember us when you're at the top, Stickman. He's actually winning in his trip to where he's going. He's getting his bachelor's, and he's got 10 years of career minimum, but he's got a plan, and he's on his way.
So, Sticky, what are you actually doing? Are you doing politics, are you? The one thing that I find really confusing about the politics sort of thing is almost no one in politics that got paid to do this, that's done all of the study, realised what a good thing they had with Donald Trump or predicted him to be the Prime Minister. They all got it wrong.
Yeah, well, because he wasn't Prime Minister, was he?
No, he was President. He was number... Impeach 45. Impeach 45. Hey, we've got a member.
Yeah, that's it.
Joel.
Calamari.
Mate, he's the bearer of coffee, and I love a coffee. So thank you there, Billy Joel. Uptown Girl. I won't finish it because I can't remember the words. Mate, great to have you here. Can we get some thumbs up for the new member, the newest member of the channel? It's fantastic to see your name go green. You're now in the military. Okay, and let's hear something about you too, Joel.
Yeah, let's do it in lots of 3.
That's enough.
Yeah.
No one wants 3 cracking put down their undies.
Or do they?
Joel, how are we doing? We're good, Joel. Can we get some thumbs up down there for Joel? Slap him in the gob with a kraken. Some free salt and pepper calamari for him. There we go. Riley, I see what you've done there. Double 3.
Yeah. Is Ryan Patel in the Million Visible book?
Wait.
Because he said he loves the streams. He's heading off as Choco Kapuka this Friday.
Ryan Patel. So we're talking about the 10th. 10th of May, yeah? 10th of May?
No, is that the 10th? It's not. Because I think Mother's Day is the 9th, and that's, Sunday.
Okay. So we're looking at Monday. So we're talking about the 11th. No. 11th, around the 12th or something. Okay. 12th of May, I'll say is, it doesn't matter. 12th of May is, sorry, say the name?
Ryan Patel.
Ryan Patel. I'm sure we've got him in the book somewhere. Sure of it.
It might be the 8th if you look.
Well, you're the only one that's going to the Army Reserve in May that we have in the book.
Yep. And our new member, Joel Hanan,
Yes.
will be going to Kapuka on June the 7th.
June the 7th.
Yes, indeed.
Let's have a look if we've got anyone else here for you there. We haven't got many down for June yet, but we've got a video coming down tomorrow where people might be able to put their dates in, and that is Joel and last name.
Hanan.
Wait 2 seconds, guys. Everyone quiet for a sec. Hello.
Hey.
I've got no idea what you're talking about. Okay. Yep. Can I call, I'm going to call you in about an hour because I'm just online at the moment, sorry. Sorry. I'm not trying to be rude to my family there, but, I can't have you guys also thinking, what are we doing now?
Yeah, no, it's fine. You take care of your business.
So, Joel, you're going in June. That's Joel's going in June. JJ, Submariner. Fantastic. That means you're going to go in the heart of winter. fantastic on the 3rd of July, still regret it 30 years later. You're going to be cracking the ice in the bear pit. You're going to realise how much cold sucks compared to heat. And let's move on to the next question. Bam. Best advice that you would give to young adults, people between the ages of, say, 17 and 18 and 24. What advice would you give them? This would be interesting. Have some thick skin if you're young.
All right, just say that again so I can put it in my brain and think about it.
It's up on the screen. Best advice you would give to young adults looking back.
Okay. You don't know half of what you think you know. You know, it's probably true that, older people might seem cynical and it might seem like they're always trying to pee on your parade. But the truth is they may just be telling you something that's worth listening to.
There is almost no chance you know as much as the people you're teasing calling boomer.
Yeah, exactly.
Just because you can text quicker, they have real life energy and lifelong lessons that may not always be able to articulate it, especially if you're not in a mood for listening, where one day you'll look back and go, I wish I could have one more conversation with Pop or with Nan.
Yeah.
Once they've lived through 3 or 4 generations, they've seen so much time change. They've seen the time before computers, the time before mobile phones, the time before internet. A lot of them were on horses still. They've seen the evolution of everything, and they'd tell you, slow down, calm down, enjoy the journey. No one gets out alone, and sticks and stones will not break your bones.
Yeah, exactly. And I'd probably tell them you're probably more capable than what you realise.
Absolutely.
You're probably stronger than what you realise. You can probably push through and deal with more than what you could ever imagine. That is exactly right. Well, Mr. P had some good advice. He said just keep doing the best you can. And that means really focusing on it, really do the best you can.
Yep.
And Stickman's got a good one. In the end, everything that happens is your fault and your responsibility. Embrace it.
That's a good one.
That is a good one. Yeah, exactly. Don't play victim.
Yep. Definitely don't be a victim.
Yeah, exactly. The devil didn't make you do it. You made a bad choice.
And life owes you nothing. And really bad things happen to really good people every single day.
Yep, exactly. Here's a good one from Daz. He said, my advice would be to follow your gut instinct. Yeah, I wish I'd learnt that earlier. And don't try to please everyone because everyone won't return the favour. That is very, very good advice. Givers
and takers. They're out there.
Yep, exactly. They really are.
Dylan Kidman, the man that gave me the banjo. Din, 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 din.
That's good advice too. Always remember when one door shuts, another door opens, or bust through a window. If a door shuts, find a way out.
Every time my back door opens, I open the bathroom door to let the air out. I tell you now.
Know about it. There's a new calamari.
There we go.
I don't know how to say it.
I see.
I'll just say
Ibrahim. Okay.
Yeah.
Great to have you here, mate. Welcome to the Bear of Coffee. I love a cup of coffee, as we've stated already. Can we get some calamari, some deals of 3 thrown to Mr. Ibrahim to let him know that he is so welcome to this channel and to let us know what is it that makes you tick and what brought you here. We're happy to have you, mate. You're part of the crew.
Welcome. Yeah, it's lovely to see you here. Yeah, I like how you've given in to the lots of 3. It's exposure therapy. We actually are helping you with your OCD about it.
It ain't working, baby. We've got more questions to come. I'm looking forward to hearing what Mr. Ibrahim's thoughts are on these as well, and what we can do to help you, young man.
Yeah, indeed.
I can call people young man now. That's a good thing about being 50. Now that I'm 50, I can say young man to anyone below 50. But what I can also do is say that's a really good-looking guy. And it doesn't mean that I swing to the rainbow colour. It's just I can identify someone who's looked after himself, who's worked hard, and, wears clothes well.
Yeah. I think it was, who was it? Was it someone, but Carl said something funny about Mother's Day before.
Time to make a mother.
He said he sent the boys in with presents and breakfast for their mum
That's true. And I also uh, thought it was Mother's Day as well. We've got
Yeah.
Drunk Aussie there. G'day, Kaz and team. Just knocked off. What did I miss? Mate, what we're talking about at the moment, you'll see the questions. I've left them up there. If you want to, Drunk Aussie, if you want to throw the answer to those questions, if you feel, and by writing it down, what that does means you actually answer these questions in your own mind. And when you write the answer down, okay, which is what we tell soldiers to do, it's what we tell people to do before they upload something, is by writing it down, you actually become real with what you've done and said. And sometimes you realize, oh, shit, can't do that, can't say that. And it makes sense. You know, it's like pumping the brake, but it becomes real. That's why they'll say to you from psychologists and psychiatry in the middle of the night to wake up. If you have ruminating thoughts going through your head, get up, grab your diary, write it down, and like a fart, it's out of your head. Not that you'll have farts in your head, I'd hope. And then you can go back to sleep fine.
Yeah, yeah. Stoddy's got some good advice for young people there.
Okay.
He said it's okay to feel lost sometimes.
Yeah.
And it usually means that you're at the end of completing something. Exactly. The end of something, it can feel like a death sometimes, like at the end of a marriage or the end of a job or something. But usually it's actually a really good growing time. It's actually the start of something new.
It is true. And something new always, feels shit at the start.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And Kynan said, what if there doesn't seem to be an end? Kynan, there is always an end, even if it doesn't feel like there won't be. And sometimes you got to be the one to pull the pin and end whatever it is.
Yeah, dude. And we're gonna talk about some of those atmospherics in a minute. Boom, I've got them here ready to go. See which one of these ring a bell.
Can I just pop in first and read you what Matthew Shepherd had to say?
Absolutely. Everyone
He
needs a
said,
shepherd.
"Hi all, just finished ICT at Duntroon a week ago. Thanks, Kaz, for all the videos. They really helped."
Well done, mate. Well done. One gate opens, one gate closes. You've made it successfully through. That comment clearly means you did okay. And you probably saw a lot of people there, Shep, that you looked at and went, don't do that, don't say that. And if you have the foresight that you can see when someone else is making a mistake, you're already learning and knowing, don't do that. And that keeps you from being a gutter ball, in bowling. You bounce off other people's mistakes, like this highway right down the centre of this thumbnail back screen there, the wallpaper. Picture those buildings are all the mistakes as you grow older and you're keeping yourself on a lane, although it's not going to be straight like that.
Yeah, exactly.
What happens is you make less and less and less mistakes as you get older, but at the same time, mistakes from an older person are less tolerated because they expect you to know better. Yep.
Exactly.
Next question. We ready?
Yep, we're ready.
Bam. Rate your life 1 out of 10 where it is right now so far. Hopefully we don't see some ones. Hopefully we don't see some ones. And if we do, I hope it's perception, not reality.
Yeah, exactly, which is a good point to make, because different people hold different value to different things, you know. I would rate my life right now to that, but you see, because mine changes day to day, really how I'm feeling. But I'm actually I'm a pretty hopeful person. I'm quite an optimist. I'm quite positive. I'm pretty grateful for what I've got. So yeah, like Mr. Patterson says, a 10. I'd say a 10 too, because I'm quite content and happy with my life and my lot.
I would be rolling between an 8 and a 10 too. I reckon I would be. What just happened to the microphone? It just changed a bit.
How is it going, guys? Let us know if the audio's okay.
So we've seen some 10s, some 6s, some 8s.
5, 4.
Some pretty good scores.
Yeah.
I bet you there's a lot of people who've got one extra pip up just because they're on this channel.
Yeah, poor old Stickman's on too. Come on, Stickman. Tomorrow I want you to feel like a 4. Come on. You're worth a lot and you're going to be Prime Minister, so you get in there.
L'Oreal, because you're worth it.
Says 11.
There you go. We've got a narcissist.
Yeah. Fugly says 8.967.
I like that. I don't like a full score. You know, one bite for those that look at the Barstool um, pizza guy.
Yeah.
That's good. There's some higher scores there.
Yeah.
You know, but you've also got to be careful that you're not that guy that goes, "Oh, I'm living 11s," you know, when everyone else thinks you're rolling at 2s at best. You know, because
Yeah.
that is absolutely living with your head in the sand, so to speak.
Yeah. Exactly.
Um, we've got some other questions here that lead into some other things before we get into viewers' questions. Where are we? Let's go. Boom. This is one that sounds like it's sort of the opposite of what I'm trying to do here, and Lauren with you to help you, mentor you, etc.
Yep.
But let me explain. No matter how many times you ring, no matter how many times you watch a stream, no matter how many times you are on Patreon, Batphone, membership, have friends, have references, everything, all of it is still only there to support you like a caddy. If you're not willing to swing the club, you're going to fail. It has to be your action. Don't wait for people to beat on your chest to make you breathe, because we're starting to see too many of that. And when that happens, that was when victim mentality comes out, and then people start to replace success with excuses and then anger, and then they start belonging as parts of groups that give them potential to either maintain the rage, okay, or blame someone else. So you are the captain of the ship.
Yeah, exactly. And you have a lot more control over your own life than what you think usually. When I was young, I always used to have these great ideas, and I thought, oh, I'd do that if someone would do it with me, whereas really I should just have done it myself. It's like you want someone else to lean on or someone else to take some of the responsibility should it go wrong. Don't do that. Just go for it yourself.
Almost everyone you know, when they want to join the army, has got someone that was going to be their brother, someone who was going to join with them at the same time. We'll go in together. We'll do it all together. That number 2 is never there. They skip out. They're the same guy that we're going to go to the gym with you.
Yep.
You know. So don't wait for that other person. How many people want to go on a holiday with someone? They talk about it for a year, and then leading right up to it, the other person doesn't seem to be talking about it as much anymore.
Yep.
And then sadly, they go, I haven't wanted to tell you, but I've got this, I've got that.
Yep.
I'm not coming.
Yeah. There's Trump Aussie again.
He's leaning on the keyboard. He's been on the vodka.
Yeah. My dream career is to be infantry, and I've applied for it a little bit back now. Advice for young adults is be the best you can be in everything you do, and that is very good advice.
It's absolutely true. Just say you go to a tavern before people are pissed and weird idiots, and you hear guttural laughter.
Yep.
Real laughter. Someone holding their tail because they think they're going to piss their pants because they're so stimulated and laughing. Everyone loves that person. Now, everyone looks over and goes, dude, what's making him laugh like that? I haven't felt like that for ages. It is the best thing. Even comedians are getting attacked by the left now.
Yeah, that's sad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's catastrophic. That's the one play. And sports, the two things that you're supposed to leave alone. And other than that, drunk Aussie, Nutsu cow.
Yeah.
I'm wearing the Rambo jacket, First Blood. I want my country to love me like I love it. Does it? I don't know.
We love you like you loved Australia anyway. That'll have to do. Zane Robertson has quite a serious question, and I'm not sure he's going to like the answer.
Billy Zane.
Yeah, he's asked, hey Kaz, I've had a history of depression, and in the past 4 years, he's still on meds, but I've been ready to go off for about a year. I'm totally sane right now. I'm sure you were sane the whole time with depression. That's not insanity. There's a big difference. What should I mention in the U session?
Zane, they need to know about all medications.
Yeah, exactly. And when are you going for the U session? Are you session,
They won't touch you.
that is going to affect your chances.
Yeah, they're not likely to touch you until you've been off medication for between a year and 18 months or something like that, mate. And that would be based. That's because you're not stable.
Yeah, exactly. And really, there's a big difference between insanity and just something like depression or anxiety and that as well. It doesn't mean you're insane or mad.
No.
There's a massive difference.
Stoddy might know a good answer for that too.
The actual definitions of that, but I'm sure
not necessarily definitions, but Stoddy might know what the actual protocol is for how long someone has to be off stabilisation medication. Okay, to be able to, because we need you to feel. We can't afford soldiers to be robots that are brought down to a level playing field using medication, etc. Right.
Yeah, exactly. Brady's made a good point. Sorry, I'm
go.
just correcting you, aren't you? I'm doing what women do. Brady said, I've been self-employed for 24 years. You never own a business. It owns you. That is the truth.
It's true.
And he said he scoffs at the army tagline of "It's my army."
I hate it. I cannot stand
that.
that.
You're worth it.
And why get the person to say that is on half the standard required of those that do the dying? It's so cringy. Charlie's Angels, they can beat up bikies. No, you can't. Here's an interesting one for you. Caitlyn Jenner, former Olympian, bloke/female, is now the biggest advocate for saying, and transgender, okay, under no circumstance should someone that has ever been born a male be allowed to compete in female competition. And now the left don't know what to do because it's someone from the community they're trying to protect that is telling them they're wrong.
Exactly. They also, they've had a bit of, I think their community has had a little bit of a problem with Caitlyn for a while because at one point she was supporting Trump. But also, surely though, and I'll use her correct pronouns just because that's what she wants, she has said that she's so qualified to speak on this. How are you going to say she's an Olympian, that she's not qualified to comment on that subject?
Yeah, and Caitlyn Jenner's still a he. What definitely was never an Olympian as a female.
If someone tells me they want to be a he, or be called he, or called, if it's man, then I'll happily say man, no problem.
If you're in my lounge room, I'll call you whatever you want, and I'll be respectful for it. But if you're as a public figure, I'm going to tell you the truth. There's two genders.
Or if I'm left trying to guess at your gender, you're just going to have to excuse me if I misgender you. I'm sorry. It's not that big a deal. Sorry.
Well, because if you're telling me someone is actually a woman, I'm going to go, okay, so the rainbow serpent, righto. How old was it when it died and what killed it? We've got to draw a line in the sand, otherwise you're going to get caught up in an area you can't get out of. Quicksand. Big Red, Birdsville. Next question. This one's going to be interesting, and I'm going to read out these ones quickly for you before we actually get on to the final point, Cinco.
Okay.
Is it where it said, or is it says? I think I've only got 5 things written up. No, there is a 6th. Says. Okay, these are some things that are going to really get in your way. Okay. Substance abuse. It doesn't matter what you think about it. You need to get rid of it. It will stop you. And I'm not talking about military. I'm talking about normal life. It can bring you down and destroy your chances with family, friends, employment, everything. It can destroy you. And if you think you can control it, better people than you have lost their soul to it. Criminal record. Once you got it, people can say you've done your time as much as you want, but at the end of the day, you've got a record. People still care. Okay?
Yeah.
Education. Despite the fact that you might only get to a certain one, you don't get a chance to say, hey, but I am, finish the sentence, because at the end of the day, unless you're the only one applying for something, there is a very easy baseline to go off. What was your education level? What did you get to? Now, it could be that you were the sole provider for your family way before you ever should have been in that position as a young man or woman. I get that. But people aren't going to look at that far in the resume. They're just going to see where you got to, and then you're going to hear the sound of paper ripping Okay,
Yep.
just like a sailor's pants. Um, the next one is relationships. For some reason, people keep trying to make relationships last forever. If you don't have a ring on your finger, if you don't have an agreement, if you meant your vows and she did too, chances are you're going to be fine. Okay, chances are going to be good. But
Yep.
we see people that give up their life, their soul, and their happiness because they're so busy trying to appease the slave master, the
Yep.
partner who puts demand after demand that
Yep.
tightens on your neck until you actually can't do anything. You have more stress at home than what you have
Yeah.
in the rest of your life.
And I've been guilty of that. I've got a bit of the disease to please, where I have been, lost myself by, desperately trying to make another person happy. But the truth is, you actually can't.
No. Givers and takers. A taker will never understand why a giver is buying them a nice gift.
Yeah.
They will never truly appreciate what you're giving them. They don't understand why you're doing it, but they'll keep letting you do it because they don't have remorse. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can't presume everybody has the same level of empathy that you do, and you've got your life right. Your life is as important as anybody else's, and like I've heard marriage described as a dance, and you cannot go through life when one person is headbanging like a mosh pit and the other person is waltzing. You either waltz together or you get in the mosh pit together. You have to be on the same page and both as important to each other as you are. It has to be an equal exchange.
Yeah. We just got a quick question here from Informant Z.
Yes.
Mate, wouldn't think you need maths too often on the battlefield. Maths is the very foundation of problem solving capabilities. What it says when you don't complete school is one, it may be, especially if you add that with a work history, if you don't do very well and you don't go past year 10 or you don't do year 11 and then you don't do 12, but then you add to it an unsuccessful career, shitloads of jobs in between, I wouldn't give you a job. You've showed that you cannot commit to anything. Okay, and then I'm probably going to lose you after the bare minimum time, and I'm probably also going to take on someone with a hell of a lot of administrational dramas. And
Yep.
if you're the only one, you might get the job. But they're not going to keep looking down through things. There's red flags. Don't have a car license. Okay, if you don't have a car license, why not? There's two things. One, I never got around to it because of this, blah, 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 blah. It could be age, okay. Or it could be an indication that you have a problem with alcohol, law, obeying rules, drink driving,
Yep.
And all of these things, you'll realise as you get older, become red flags to those that did get past all of these things and don't have any of those dilemmas. If I can avoid a broken arrow by simply weeding out people before I've even met them, it makes sense. And if you're on the other side of the table, it makes sense to you as well.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the thing with math. I wouldn't be able to run a household actually without math. I wouldn't be able to make art like I make art without math. So whoever tells you, oh, you'll never need math, that's a lie. You will. You may not need advanced trigonometry, but you will use it in your everyday life if you ever want to do renovations or you want to do anything. You will need it to do a budget, to compare prices, in the supermarket, all of that stuff. Like I said, art, you need math.
Yeah. And this leads us on to the last point, and that's administrational dramas.
Yeah.
Now, I see so many people that are absolute gold mines that turn up to this channel on the bat phone and then talk to me. And one, they're ready to go right now. Two, they don't have a missus. Three, they're at an age where they've already got some wisdom and they've had jobs. They've got their license, no conviction, no drugs in their system. They're already fit. Their banking is in order. There is nothing that can possibly hold them back.
Yep.
Okay, but then there's other people that don't have a license, whose missus doesn't want them to join.
Yep.
Okay, who have had a problem in the past with depression, anxiety, or both.
Yep.
Who use illegal substances to calm them down.
Yeah,
Okay, they've got an assault charge waiting,
Yeah.
and
They're
yeah,
Yeah.
and shit family and shit friends who are also playing with their mind, gaslighting them that they
Yeah,
could never
exactly.
make it. And these guys, when you talk to them sometimes, you're like, dude, calm down, draw a line in the sand, walk over it, cut away the people you don't need anymore, because that's part of the healing process.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And you know what? Your life's a mess. You got to clean it up.
You do.
And that does sometimes mean estranging yourself from people who aren't good for you. It means maybe changing your environment. And that includes the folk you're hanging around with. Sometimes you've got to cut away that dead wood.
Mm.
I'm a gardener. You've got to prune the trees. You've got to prune them so they grow better.
You do. Sometimes you got to get rid of your soulmate.
Yeah, who you think is your soulmate? Yeah.
Cellmate, not
Oh,
soulmate.
I just
Cellmate.
said soulmate. I thought, what? Yeah,
Just
soulmate. Yes, you do.
the first person that touches your willy is not meant to be the person you're in a relationship with for the rest of your life.
No.
Okay. I know at the time it feels like love, but sadly it's like your dog. You want your dog to last forever, but it's not going to go past 14 years, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah.
We had an interesting question there.
Yeah. Who from? And I'll read it.
Sorry about my eyes here, team. I
Okay.
think it was Meg. No,
Meg.
Meg. Thoughts. Someone was saying something about financial.
Oh, okay. Hang on. Let me just go back.
It's clock night where I am. Who was it?
Yeah. Dave's made a good point though. He said that maths is used in so many areas: grid to magnetic bearings in nav, ballistics, logistics. It touches every role.
Bam.
Uh,
You're used
yeah.
to 360 degrees when you're on your frickin' skateboard, Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
6,400 mils, back
Yeah.
bearings. Okay.
Yeah.
Bleh. What do you call? What else? What else we got?
Yeah. I don't know. V
Anyway.
has a question about partners. On the topic of partners, mine thinks military training will turn me into, and there's quotation marks, army dickhead who looks down on civilians. Can you comment on that? Well, I can comment on this. I think that your lady needs to stop being a bit too judgmental and lumping all army folk into one area. I think she's the one who's got to change her attitude. That's not fair to say that they're all the same or they all look down on civilians. That's not fair at all.
Why don't you sit her beside you right now and say to her,
Yeah.
well, I've got a guy who's supposed to be dumb who was in infantry for 24 years who is
Yeah,
voluntarily helping me for free now to try and get to my goal
exactly. He
and
helps
isn't
me.
judged me at all.
He doesn't look down on me. He's always boosting me up and telling me,
I do when I'm taller.
great things about myself and that. Most of my friends are army and they don't treat me differently because I'm a civilian.
Hmm.
So
You know what?
that's a misconception.
A lot of civilians actually look down on
Yeah,
army more than we look down on
exactly.
you guys.
And that's exactly what she's doing with that comment. So that I'm afraid if she was sitting in front of me having a coffee, I would actually have to take her to task over that comment.
Is that like the statement where someone tells you what to do by saying, don't tell me what to do? You go, but you just told me what to do.
You just told me what to do.
Let's
Exactly.
get to the next one. Let's get to the next one, shall we? So we don't get bogged down and we can go to the questions. Bam.
Yeah.
Time is running out. Time is running out. Tie this into it's all on you.
Yeah.
You've got to know that, sadly for ladies, they have a drag race to get to success. They have to be almost planning their family straight up, because their employment, university, family, partner, all of these things you don't have long. You're talking less than 12 years to get that sorted before you can be in real trouble.
Yeah, don't think that can go forever. And ladies, if you are considering some sort of career in anything really that you want it to be a long career, freeze your eggs.
Yeah.
Because truly, time is biologically ticking by, and don't presume you could always just have a baby later.
And also, kids don't want old parents.
Exactly.
Just because it's convenient for you doesn't mean it's good for the kid when the parents are got their eyes rolled back like a happy cat lasagna.
exactly.
I'm an older parent, and it's not easy. You know.
You can't. Look, I wasn't a teenage mum, even though I had my first daughter just before I turned 20. But I had a lot of energy. I was able to really throw myself into the role. Some of my friends are only just have very small children now, and they're
Mm.
exhausted and tired. They've had to turn their whole lives upside down, whereas I was still sort of, that was my life.
Yeah.
So I think, really think about those things.
Yeah, we've got a lot of people and female friends that where the ladies are older than 30 and absolutely desperate to have children, but
Yeah,
but you still have to have the guy that wants to be with you. And there's so many things that need to work out for them. And,
yeah,
so I really take my hat off to some ladies, on how quick they have to operate while a guy is basically trying for more than 10 years to dodge it happening, but
yeah,
doesn't realise the fatigue that we feel as well
yeah,
when we hit to 40 and all of a sudden we've dropped our Lego and
yeah,
forgot where we put the instructions on how to be put back together again. And all of
yeah,
the work you did at the gym is now addicted to the same direction that gravity's taken your muscles.
yeah,
And we age so quick. After 40 years old, your eyes, are going to go on a holiday too. 2020, that was
yeah,
last year.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like, look at what Fee said there. She said it took her 5 years to have a child. You never know. You don't know. You may presume that you'll be able to do it, just get pregnant straight away. And like you said, it's not a straight road. There's lots of turns in that road of your life, and some of you just can't see around those corners.
Yeah, and imagine what it's like for a lady when she looks up and she goes, dude, the only guys that are on my radar at the moment look like they're dudes that are hungover after falling off a bull wrong at Birdsville.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
I'm never hating on young mums at all. They especially if they've
there's no
gone into
perfect time.
yeah, no, exactly, and they by and large they do a pretty good job. Or older mums either. It's harder when as you get older.
Yeah. Yeah, so time is running out. So we've discussed this in earlier streams, and we'll use, for example, who have we got here?
Yeah,
We'll use Mr. Ibrahim because he's here. We're gonna
yeah,
take it that Mr. Ibrahim is 24 years old. We're gonna aim at that, mate. How old are you actually, anyway? But we'll take it as though you're 24 years old. So you've already been out of school for basically 6 years. By now, you're either going to be a tradie, an entrepreneur, okay, military, police, bloody fire brigade, paramedic or something, or you're going to have some sort of job that you've got through university, one of these sort of things. But most of those things are all around a 4 year commitment that you probably started when you were 18 or 19, and you might even be ready to move on now.
yeah,
Yep. And that's probably because around the 24 years seems to be where we start to grow out of alcohol, grow out of the party stage, and start to want to chill out and have someone there
yeah,
tomorrow, have a
yeah.
dog,
Yeah,
don't
you
want to
get to
clean
know
anymore.
yourself.
Sorry?
You get to know yourself, and you get to know what you actually want from life more.
You do. And as soon as you've got a serious partner, life, gone. Life is over. Once you have a partner and you have children, guess who comes last? And I'm talking about females here too. If they're good
It's true.
ones, you come last.
It's true.
Everything you do with your job now, you can't start necessarily doing fly in, fly out of broom.
Yeah,
Okay, you can't just go, I'm going to join the army. All of these things take a second person to agree with.
yeah,
Okay. Also, there is collateral damage. Who am I affecting with this decision? Or is it
yeah,
a net positive, but I've still got someone who doesn't want me to do what I want to do to feed the family for the rest of my life, despite the fact you never tell them what to do. These are
yeah,
the things that happen. So you
yeah,
literally have, and if you're worse looking, chances are you're going to be settled down even sooner because you're going to know you're on a good thing and you're going to stick with it.
yeah,
And if
yeah,
you're if you are not the dominant one, or at least have control in your relationship,
yeah.
and you do what you're told, you're not leaving your postcode either.
No, exactly. And this is the thing, right? This is because, you know, I'd raised 6 children. I'd given them all. That was my life. And then all of a sudden I knew they always would at some point grow up and need me less. But all of a sudden now I have time for myself. I have less responsibility, you know, for other people. And it was kind of frightening at first, but it can be good if you embrace it. So, you know, it is true. You do lose you have to lose your singular identity when you become a parent, because you have to, you have duties.
Yep. And you eventually need to be in a position where you're looking back on life saying, this is what I've achieved. This is what I was qualified at. Okay, this is what makes me tick. This is what I stand for. But that's very hard to do if you're stuck into the role of do a job for a year, get poached, go to another job for a year, where none of it is about mateship. It's only about money. There's no friendship whatsoever. You're basically existing for the 7 days off you get at the end of each year.
Yep.
You know, if you don't have something strong at the start, you know, whether it be a trade, whether it be the military, whether it be a business orientated thing, then when you do turn up to something serious, they're going to go, so what have you been doing all these years? Why did it take this long for you to come to this? You're saying this is your dream job, but you're, we'll say with one of our gentlemen, 37 years old. We had a great talk yesterday. So why are you here? If this was your dream job, why did it take you 19 years to come to us? Yeah, and they're going to expect an answer. They're going to expect it. Okay. Otherwise, you might get put on the bottom of the heap. So you've only got a certain amount of time to get that done before there starts to be an effect, a reaction to your actions.
Yep.
So let's call it you've got 6 summers, 6 to 8 summers where you can get away, rebuild, and get that out of your system. And even then, remember, we've just got... sorry, I can't read that properly.
Yeah, it's Aussie Player 100, and that's €10, I believe. And I actually have my little screen paused at a comment Aussie Player made before, which when we were into the comments I was going to read to you, but I'll read it to you now. He said, "Great work, mate. I'm no army boy, I'm a paramedic, and I truly think what you are doing is so good. Keep it up." And we appreciate that kind of feedback. We love it.
And the girls like me to keep it up as well. You know,
Oh my God.
For the guys and girls that don't know, and mate, awesome. Whereabouts are you there, friend?
Yeah.
What country are you in? Because for some reason I always get a little bit tingly downstairs when I get someone from overseas, because it means that we aren't completely invisible, you know. But a paramedic, I've always said, and it started not with Dylan Kidman, who was here before we went away to be a scuba diving instructor, but met a girl, you know, and the snorkel didn't help him. But basically what happened was we had a soldier who didn't do well in infantry. Let's just say it wasn't a fit. But then he went away and got his course to go and become a paramedic. And he thought I was going to think down on him as I'd been mentoring him like this, but face to face from his rehabilitation wing. And I think that he thought I was fugazi at first, that I was giving him fake emotion.
Yeah.
But I said, mate, I need to shake your hand.
Yeah,
and I called everyone around, and Dylan Kidman may have been there, okay, when I did this. And I said, everyone, if you get a chance, you need to shake this guy's hand. I said, these are an angel's hands. People are going to remember his voice. They're not going to remember his face. He is at your relatives or your bedside trying to put Humpty Dumpty back together again. It is absolutely the most amazing career.
Yeah.
But there's a bill to pay.
And amazing people. Yes, indeed there is. Yeah, they carry a lot of weight on their shoulders. And
are you saying when they have fat patients, or?
Well, I don't think they carry them on their shoulders. But no, I mean,
in a fire.
Let's face it, they're like police. They're not really seeing anyone on their best day.
No. And like you've said, Lauren, everyone that loses their life probably had plans for tomorrow. They didn't expect it to happen. So Aussie Player 100, okay, we need to know what country you're in at the moment, paying the pounds. But also, mate, what is it, paramedic, to you? You know, if you can leave a quick message, you know, is, are you good? Do you recommend it?
Yeah, exactly. exactly, as a career. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's amazing.
Yeah, that would be good. Are you ready to go to the comments for a little bit?
We are, but not those comments. We've got the members' comments here,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
we need to start spitting these ones out. So these are the comments from our members of the channel, those in green that are there, that had the opportunity earlier to put in the comment section, of the community part of YouTube. And we're going to start with Will Berryman first. G'day, Kaz. Any chance you could run us through a typical day, week of being an infantryman? If you have some knowledge on the commander regiment's routines as well, that'd be great. Well, I do know one thing. The commandos get to do their own PT, unless they're in the shit. But what I'd say is a typical day, week for infantry. I'm going to just whip that through these, Lauren. Okay. You'll turn up to work and you need to be there by 7:20. At 7:30, what'll occur is platoon commander comes out, platoon sergeant as well, calls the roll. The roll! No, he actually calls out the names. And platoon commander will stand off to the side if he has something to say. The section commanders then will be given an opportunity to go away, and they will become the personal physical trainers for their section unless it's doing group PT. They'll do that daily. They come back, they're normally finished by 8:20. 40 minutes is required for PT, whether it be cardio, whether it be a circuit, whether it be swimming, whether it be boxing, whatever. From there, what will happen is you'll go out and have a cup of coffee with your mate's wife. You'll be back by 9:30. You'll be in the dress of the day, maybe including fighting order, which is your webbing. From there, what will occur is you'll go and train until around 12 o'clock. You'll then have your lunch an hour. You'll get an hour for that. You'll come back and say, this is bullshit. Why aren't we knocked off yet? Okay, and then from there, what will occur is you'll do your afternoon leg of training. Okay, and you're always preparing for the next field exercise, the next operation, or the next activity you'll be doing, or the next exchange. There's always something you're ramping up for on a training program. If not, then you're also doing a second physical activity session, or trying to swindle your section commander using administration as the angle to get knocked off early. These will happen. It can be shooting, it can be navigation, it can be fire controls or orders, it can be target indication, it can be field craft, it can be weapons, TOEETs, it can be not so much marksmanship principles, it might be any number one of things. But you're training all the time for something that's on the training program, or administrational preparation, so that you don't have any bills, court cases, etc. happening while you're outfield. Next one, Bailey's hat. Wherever he throws his hat is home, and at the moment it landed on, Michael Jackson's grave. No, it didn't. Okay, my mum is really concerned about my mental well-being when joining infantry, and she would rather me take a trade to set up her after. What should I tell her? I'd say, Mum, you're a chick, I'm a guy, we think differently, don't get in my way, otherwise you won't be happy with me living at home playing Xbox.
Yeah, and look, at this point in time, I'd like to say that I remember when my partner first was actually deployed somewhere on operation, and it was frightening. I thought, oh my God, he's going to die, but everyone came back alive.
And if he does die, you get paid out.
Exactly. Most people do come back alive, and if you don't, it's you and your decision, and that's why it's a sacrifice. And she just loves you. That's all. She really does love you and care for you. So it comes from a good place, but at the same time, it is your life.
Yep. It is your life, Bon Jovi.
Yep.
Delegate is saying, hey, Kaz, was thinking last night about the buddy system. How does it work? How often are you with your buddy? Does it just apply for training courses? No. A buddy is the guy that you sit with in your pit, okay, in a defendable location, which means that when you sit down as a fighting organisation, okay, that you're number two, so to speak, you'll normally be at every single or every second hour of the clock, okay, on the ground in a thing called a harbour. You will always have a person beside you. You sit with your fighting equipment on, facing outside the position, so even when you're not on the machine gun or you're not on sentry, acting as the front door to the security, the eyes open, the ring camera on the front door, you will sit with your equipment on. You can unbuckle, but you're not going to take it off most of the time. unless you're having a lay down and putting your head back there, getting to sleep when you can in between ambushes or whatever's happening in night activities, because the Australian Army owns the night, so we speak. And what'll happen is there's no requirement for two people to be cooking when one person can cook for two. There'll always be someone there when you're going off to do a shit right beside the platoon sergeant's head. Okay, so you can get a fly collection beside him. When you're putting up perimeter cord, there'll always be someone who is at each second hour of the clock. And when we call stand to, everyone scrambles back to that position. At night time, you'll be sleeping under one hoochie if it's raining. Okay, there's never a need to put up two. It wastes time. So you're always going to have a number two wherever you are that assists you. I'm cleaning my weapon. He's not cleaning his weapon. I'm brushing my teeth. I throw him my toothpaste, and then he brushes his teeth. Shaving water, we might be both using that. And I can go more into the buddy system. I might even make a video on it, actually. Because it goes to show people that someone's always got your back, even if they don't like you.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That actually may even make mums feel a bit better hearing about the body system.
Your kid ain't going to be alone. Sorry, Tim, we're just answering these questions here, guys. Fugly, what happens to pets when joining? Do they move to the family or do you need to get rid of them? It's all up to you. Okay, you'll decide whether they are now your mum and dad's pet or whether they're going to be your pet, but they're not going to be with you for Kapuka. They're not going to be with you for School of Infantry. So you're going to be away for at least 8 months.
Yeah, I don't think the ADF is going to make arrangements to house your pets for that time, so you will have to make those arrangements.
They won't, but they will fly them up. They'll pay for it all.
That's right.
When you get in and you get to your location.
Yeah, exactly.
But you can't have a pet when you're living on barracks either.
Yeah, exactly.
And Fugly, worst case scenario, you take them down to the local Asian shop, and they become part of the menu.
Stop it, you wicked man.
It tastes like chicken.
Don't say that.
No salmonella.
Stop it.
Okay, J.R. Charlton. Okay,
Yes.
I didn't do well in year 10, but still went to year 11. Is the year 10 pass an absolute requirement? Yes, it is. Or is it just a measurement of general knowledge? No, it's about commitment. Committing something. Were you able to actually achieve the results required? Where I get a little bit confused, Senior Charlton Jr., is the fact that if it's so important, then why do you have to then go and do an aptitude test? I understand that that's based on actual IQ and you can do nothing to change that. But that's to show what you unlock so they know your problem-solving capabilities. And if you talk about IQ tests and what it actually achieves, you'll understand some people get very, very upset when they realise their IQ level works in amongst band levels of employment that suit their intelligence, low tide and high tide mark, so to speak. And even without telling them that, they tend to gravitate towards that. All right? So it is important, but what they'll do is they'll also take into account your work history. If you're 37, okay, they're like, okay, well, I'm not going to give a shit about your year 10, okay, and you outdone that with the year 10, with your aptitude test, but what's your work history? Can we validate it? And if it's good and you don't have other dilemmas in there, they might go, yeah, sweet as. Press the like button right now and we'll let you join. Okay. Senior Delegate, Sergeant now. Another, if I'm being annoying, you're not. What are your thoughts on the NGSW research that the USA is doing for new upgrades on the service rifles? They're going for a 6.8 millimeter round to be better combat near peer. I don't really subscribe to any of that shit, mate. I think we're not too far off lasers. Whether I'm on 5.56, whether I'm on 7.62, or in between on 6.8 in a ceramic case round, I don't give a shit. It comes down to my marksmanship principles. Okay, position hold must be firm enough to support the weapon. Weapon pass point naturally at the target without any physical undue effort. Sight and alignment and aiming must be correct, and shot must be released Shot must be released and followed through without any disturbance to the firear's position. It's about marksmanship. It's about training. It is about skill sets, about weapon knowledge. It's not about, if you give me a pool cue, it doesn't matter if it's bent. If I know how to play pool, I'll beat someone that doesn't know. This rounds, it's all about money. It's all about acquisition. Someone's making a lot of money on something that doesn't need to be changed. And everywhere that the US goes, the M4 has been fined. in Vietnam, they found that the M16 that I used when going through the School of Infantry, okay, didn't have the stopping power in the jungle against the Viet Cong. Charlie don't surf.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, but the 7.62, not only would that pack him up, put him on the ground, it'd also bury him, say his last rites to him, okay, and it'd all be done. But there's strengths and weaknesses to weapon systems as a capability they provide. So don't get too caught up in the weapon, man. You know, technology changes, but the principles of warfare do not.
Yep.
And it's not going to be as much the infantry fight anymore because we won't be dominating on terrain. It's going to be from air, strategic weapon systems, okay, and surgical striking capabilities, and economic. Got just a few more to go. Carl P, question. If a tree falls in a forest, does anyone here? Any critters? On a serious note, how long do you have to be in the reserves full-time to be an NCO? That'll depend on how you put your foot down, the courses you do, how you perform out in the field environment. Do you have leadership capability? Okay, how long do you spend in the boozer? How short of NCOs do they have? Is there a subject course coming up and there's no one to put on it? That's how long it is. You know, but it doesn't matter if you're Army Reserve or whether you're regular Army. You know, when you actually have that rank on your chest, the expectation is that the job is done at job level. So be very careful of wanting something too quickly but not having enough time and exposure within that role to actually be able to do what they're asking for you with no supervision when you are the highest rank on the ground and you actually don't necessarily know what to do when it's not on paper. But that's what I'm here for, to coach you through, because, again, I was a tactics and leadership instructor and I can help you with that sort of stuff.
Yep, indeed. You just let me know when you're done with those member questions.
2 to go, and I love these. There's some really serious questions. No one took the piss out of me. It was a really good thing.
Yeah, no, I like them too. Yeah.
Dilan, Lambo lamb,
Okay, yeah.
Mongolian lamb. When I ask for Chinese food, you know, I don't mind if there's a little bit of wool because I understand I'm eating sheep. I don't expect to see cauliflower or broccoli in Mongolian lamb. I won't tolerate it. Dylan, Lambo lamb, being in the military with children but separated from their mother. I've seen a lot of fathers with tears in their eyes. You know what? There is no perfect world for a broken up family where there's children involved. It doesn't matter if it's long road truckers. There is going to be difficult times. There really is going to be hard times ahead. You know, all you got to do is keep in touch with them as much as you can, and don't be afraid to write a letter. And all it means is quite often you buy them a present each time you go away, so they know that you're always in their mind. You know, and you even need to back mum up and go, we might not be together, but if mum rings me and tells me you guys are putting up some hell while I'm away, watch out, because this hand, it works.
Yep.
It's cocked.
Yeah.
Okay, and we've got Daz, the Hyundai Drive and Freako from down south. Kaz, if Australia had to defend our own soil on home ground once again, do you think ADF has enough equipment? Yes. Weapons and ammo. Ammo? I don't know. But let's look at it from this point of view. We discussed this the other day, Daz, that we could get 1 million soldiers, you know, mobilised very, very quickly, and it doesn't take consent to make an Australian a soldier. They don't get a choice. They will be told, this is your job now. They'll have a weapon that we have. We have wartime reserves that are always available. We have the ammo at Denman and other such places that are available. So how many people does it take? What are you fighting? Who are you fighting? No one's coming to fight Australia. And if they did, it'd be asymmetric, terrorist-based activities to cause infrastructure chaos and instability, so that then they can hit that with either something similar to COVID, okay, or economically take you down.
Yeah,
you know, it's not going to be
fight their lives with give hell.
And
you know, cometh the hour, cometh the every man, woman, and child in Australia.
Everyone grow their fingernails long and attack.
Yeah, exactly. We do what we have to do.
Let me just say one thing here, Lauren. For people to get concerned about things, there is not a country in this world that is not facing the same dilemmas as each other. The entire world has sold its soul, okay, to have what we have now, where people have the riches of kings with the responsibility of the man with the fan. Okay, we've sold our soul. You know, everyone is having the same problems. The people you think are so powerful are not. It's like we've all got IKEA instructions that we can't read properly, or we've trusted our children when we've gone out when they're 17 years old not to throw a party, despite the fact that we gave them an iPro Max with Facebook already on there with group chat. Shit's going to hit the fan. It's not going to be the way you think it's going to look. We have the forces to do it, mate. And anything short of that, the fear of missing out, so to speak, FOMO, means we could end up spending extra billions and it wouldn't achieve anything. We're just a little bit more readier. It'd be like overtraining. It is so expensive for us to even maintain our military now of new projects and keep them up to date, and then pay for Army Reserve where they're now saying, is what we get back worth how much it costs? There's studies on that, and they're saying, okay, they're fantastic, okay, for domestic, but the price, if you only looked at them from a projection capability since 2004, 2020, I believe 2,500 have deployed. So if you look at that and then consider billions get spent on it, they might go, oh, shit, I don't know. But how long is a piece of string? As soon as you get rid of something, then you suddenly need it again. So guys and gals, excellent questions. Thank you very much. If you want to have those registered questions like that, just become a member. Watch the community tab, put your questions in there, and then they'll come up and we'll face them off. If we didn't have these questions here today for everyone on the actual page, and no doubt this is causing some sort of friction within some people's DNA where they're going, oh shit, I'm running out of time, Kaz. I'm 17. No, you're okay. You're okay. But we have to put it there so you at least consider it. Dylan Lambo Lamb, grab another coffee, brother. Did you get my meme? Not so cow. I haven't seen the meme yet. Is it on that community area? I'll have a look, mate.
Yep.
And I hope there's no cauliflower or broccoli in you, Dylan Lambo Lamb.
You go for it, Dylan, if you like the cauliflower. I love cauliflower.
Stop
cheese.
it.
So good. It's so good. I love cauliflower just chopped up with butter and pepper. It's delicious. All right, are you ready? Are you ready for the catch up in the chat now?
Absolutely.
Okay, Aussie Player 100, Paramedic, said he left Australia 18 years ago to find his way in life. He is a paramedic, been a paramedic for 15 years in Berlin, Germany.
Awesome. And let's put things into perspective there. You're in a country that Australia went to, WAR, twice. And even after that conflict, one of the first places they came to was Australia. Now you're over there where you can go to Flinders Fields and all of these places that have had more fertiliser than almost anywhere else on earth and no foul.
Yeah.
Being a soldier, you can still hate the conflict. You're there for the adventure.
Yeah, exactly. And this is what I always tell people, don't hate the individuals, even if you hate the conflict. Don't hate the soldiers doing their job. That's
it. Because they're the righteous people that stood forward when the woman in the dark screamed. They're the ones that said, not on my watch, and stepped in.
Exactly. All right, moving along. Brady Carr says good news for North Head and the School of Artillery will receive upgrades to make it a place of interest to visit. Kaz would love it up there for photography and drone footage. That sounds like a good idea.
It does sound good. I'm almost ready for a new drone, but none of them are really coming out because of all the international laws that came there, and even DJI absolutely got spanked.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they got ripped off by their own people.
Here's something exciting. Joe Williams says, sorry I'm late, guys. He's all hyped up for tomorrow because he is enlisting tomorrow.
Is that Joe Williams?
Yeah.
I think I just put you in the book because I found your name in comments.
Yep.
That would make you... Where are we? What's tomorrow's date?
Tomorrow will be the 4th.
Yep, there he is. Joe Williams. You're going there with the mechanic and Jesse.
Yeah.
And the skylight.
Yeah, exactly. May the 4th be with you.
4 platoon. Whatever you put in your mouth now is going to come out of your bum in Kapuka. Did you know that?
Come on. Why did you...
There's no fake news here, man. Deadpool's watching. I've got to keep it staunch.
Pretty much truth. Okay. Bird Kid has asked, I have a home. Yeah, I have a home, wife, and 2 young daughters. Will the army consider this when I choose my first preference for my posting.
Look, they always take into account. They always take into account, but the answer is, at the end of the day, Army's needs come first. Now, what happens is, this will be a mitigation to the core you go to. Okay, you need to remember this and keep this in the back of your mind when you're at Kapuka, that you need to pass. You can't afford to dilly-dally around with the people that are your friend for 12 weeks only. When you get into the core, which core do you want to go to? Does that meet your family's needs? You must pass. You must be successful in that. Don't get back squatted. Take it very seriously and ask questions where you can and let them know, hey, I've got a family. I take this very seriously, but for me to keep my family on board with my adventure, I understand that I'm putting them in a position as well. You know, most of this is back on you, mate. You know, let them know, okay, they deal with families all the time. You've got DCO as well that will ring up your missus, or she can ring them. You know, you'll be all right. You'll be okay.
Yeah, it's very exciting. It is exciting. Well done. You know, you're about to go live your dream. You know,
Yeah.
give it your best. Give it
That's
your
it.
all. You know, do you need to go ring your family?
I do.
Is it
Let me.
jump?
I have to get out of here now because I've got
Yeah.
my little girl who's got to do her public speaking engagement tomorrow, and I need to make sure that we're good to go. And guys and gals, hopefully you enjoyed some of the questions that were thrown at you. Gave you a chance, if not to answer the question, to actually consider. Okay, something you may not agree with what I say, but the video that comes out tomorrow at 10:30, you'll see that I believe that I'm correct at least 51% of the time. And that's better than being right 49%. That makes me a major shareholder in my opinions. Okay?
All right, guys. And I'll be live streaming, hopefully all going well. Send me good vibes at 9:30 tomorrow on my channel. Then
Good
you can
vibes.
also watch Kaz's video straight afterwards. We'll keep you entertained all day.
Look at this. Thank Deadpool. Thanks, Lauren. Thanks to everyone, including our fantastic Aussie paramedic in Germany. You know, how many people has he saved? You know,
Yeah, exactly.
who knows? He won't know himself. Dave Pence in Vietnam. Night, he says. See us later. It's on the bat phone, buddy. Dylan, I'll check it out, my man. Guys and gals, take it easy. Thanks for a great stream. And let's get out of here. Diddy Mouth in the village. No broccoli. No cauliflower. And
Lots of it.
tubes. Okay, let's bring them back. People power. We need it.
Good night, everyone.
Delicious bite-sized saucy snacks. If you want, leave here right now. Go to Lauren is Shining. Let's see a spike in her subscriber list, but also check out her videos when you can, because she's going to have some people who will also allow you to drip feed your knowledge, okay, and never realise how much you actually know, because by listening to streams rather than having conversations,
Yep.
your ears are accidentally open.
Yeah, exactly. No, I've got some really good guests coming up. I'm really grateful.
Yes. Over my lap.
No.
No, he's dead.
He's dead.
No one gets out alive.
I need a spirit box or something.
Press like, get out of here, take it easy.